Introduction. The importance of this topic is fundamental because we need to learn about the different animals that we have in our planet. Also, we have to learn where in which ecosystem they live and learn about that ecosystem. This is useful so people will aware from the environment and will start to respect it. And in this way, we can prevent the extinction of ecosystem and animals. A little life application, for example, is that if a person likes the penguins and its ecosystem, he will start to care about it and making little actions like walking instead of using its car, etc. To
Elephant. Scientific name: Elephantidae. Habitat: desert of the savanna, forest areas, swamps, and everything in between. Climate: warm and humid. Biotic factors: humans. Biotic factors: predators. Position in the food chain: elephants eat producers. Consumer type: primary consumers. Importance in the food chain: elephant and rhino are primary consumers. Herbivores, feeding on a variety of vegetation types including grasses, forbs, roots, bulbs, tubers, leaves, flowers, shrubs, bark, etc. They fill a distinct niche as bulk grassers and bulk browsers in the food chain.
Ya va a ver
Estas
cómo
bestias colosales han dominado
porque
África de
no creo que
costa a
solo
costa
sea de que
durante más de
escribir del
50
libro, ¿o
millones
sí?
de años en su migración en busca de agua para sus familias.
¿Qué estás poniendo tú?
Son los
Sistema
amos de su
financiero.
universo, los arquitectos de su mundo.
Entonces era sistema.
Los jóvenes
Ay, poquillo,
elefantes,
¿no?
alegres, juegan a salvo en medio de una de las familias más protectoras de la naturaleza. Tienen rituales evocadores y demuestran una gran prudencia, cuidado y compasión. Su historia no son meras estadísticas y marfil, sino que va mucho más lejos. Somos Derek y Beverly Joubert. Acompáñennos a vivir esta aventura en primer plano en Botsuana. Una expedición por las manadas más grandes que aún deambulan libremente por el planeta en este territorio virgen. A medida que vayamos recorriendo este territorio salvaje en canoa, iremos profundizando en los caracteres y las personalidades de estos imponentes animales. Y dedicaremos tiempo a conocerlos de manera íntima. Celebraremos la auténtica alma de elefante.
Okay, then we have the Arctic fox. The scientific name of this animal is Vulpes lacopus. The habitat is the tundra, where there's a very cold climate, and the temperature never rises the 10 Celsius. The consumer type is the secondary consumers. The abiotic factors are the fungi, mosses, insects, birds, and mammals. The abiotic factors are the temperature, wind, rain, snow, and soil. The consumer type is the secondary consumers, as I already said, and the position in the food chain. The Arctic fox is a secondary consumer in the food chain. The producers of the Arctic tundra include lichen, mosses, and small grasses.
In the frozen landscape of the Canadian Arctic, this Arctic fox welcomed human visitors. Clearly curious, the fox even approached the expedition leader before walking away. The Arctic fox is so well adapted to the frigid weather that it can survive temperatures as low as minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit. The fox sports small ears, a short muzzle, furry soles, and lives in burrows protecting it from blizzards. The fox's white coat acts as camouflage and even changes color as the seasons change.
Hola.
During the coldest of months, the fox will often rely on polar bears to do the hunting, picking up scraps. Currently, Arctic fox populations are stable and of least concern to the IUCN Red List.
zebra is an African equine with distinctive black and white striped coats. Its scientific name is Equus quagga, also known as the common zebra. They live in the savanna, which is a mix of woodland grassland ecosystem characterized by the trees being sufficiently widely spaced so that the canopy does not close. They also live in the grasslands, which is an area in which the vegetation is dominated by a nearly continuous cover of grasses. Grasslands occur in environments conducive to the growth of this plant cover, but not to that of taller plants, particularly trees and shrubs. The climate from these habitats used to be warm, with temperatures range from 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, with dry and wet seasons. These habitats also have biotic and abiotic factors, like all other biomes. The biotic components of a savanna grassland are the living organisms that inhabit in that area. These organisms are referred to as producers, consumers, or decomposers. Trees, grasses, shrubs, mosses, and lichens are types of producers found in a savanna grassland. The abiotic components of a savanna grasslands are the non-living aspects of the grassland ecosystem that the living organisms depend upon. This includes the climate, the soil, the topography, and natural disturbances. Precipitation is important to a grassland as it determines the amount and the types of plants and trees that grow. The zebra is a primary consumer. This means it needs to feed from the producers in order to do its job in the food chain. Zebras play a critical role for other herbivores by clearing the way for growth of tender new leaves and grasses. As being primary consumers, other consumers feed from them in order to survive.
The zebra used to inhabit most of Africa's territory, but the number of these animals has dropped dramatically over the past century. Different species of zebra have different conservation statuses. The plains zebra is not endangered, the mountain zebra is considered vulnerable, and the Grevy zebra is endangered. The main reasons for a significant drop in zebra population are hunting and loss of suitable habitat due to farming expansion. The number of farms is constantly growing, so wild animals have to compete with livestock and farmers who use lands for agricultural needs. Apart from competing for water with livestock, droughts also force zebras to congregate at remaining water sources, increasing the incidence of disease transmission.
Tiger Bengal. His scientific name is Panthera tigris tigris. His habitats are grasslands, dry forests, and tropical forests. His climate of the habitats are humid and warm. The biotic factors such as animals which are source of foods and forest cover. The abiotic factors as temperature, water, and climate. The position in food chain are in the top because they have no natural predator and hunt primary or secondary consumers. Okay, the tiger Bengal, it was previously considered the second largest subspecies behind the Siberian tiger. However, recent studies suggest that this could be the largest subspecies today. The total length of the males is 270 to 310 centimeters, while females are 240 to 265 centimeters. His tail is 85 to 100 centimeters long and shoulder height is 90 to 110 centimeters. Weight depends on region. Some tigers are under 100 kilograms while others reach 230 kilograms. In the case of males in Chitwal 7, male tigers shed an average of 221 kilograms. However, those males that inhabit central India have a weight of between 160 to 133 kilograms, and an average of 190 kilograms for males and 131 kilograms for females.
Chavales, ¿huele? Mira. El olor era fortísimo. Eso es un cuerno, ¿no? Huele alucinantemente mal. Eso es un bicho que llevará muerto 2 o 3 días. O sea, huele fortísimo. O sea, he llegado aquí por el Flor de casi 100 metros. Eso es un búfalo, tíos. Eso es un búfalo. Que seguramente lo ha matado un tigre porque no hay otro animal que pueda matar un animal así de grande. Entonces lo que vamos a hacer es que nos vamos a quedar aquí un rato, esperando hasta que venga el tigre a comer. Normalmente matan un animal cada 2 semanas, 3 semanas y tardan unos 3 o 4 días en comer. Está ahí, ¿lo veis? ¿Lo veis? Vale, a ver, ahora sí que no nos podemos mover de aquí. Esto es el tigre de Bengala, chavales. Puede llegar a pesar 230 kilos. Un macho, 230 kilos, imaginaos lo que es eso. Una hembra puede llegar a pesar unos 180 kilos. O sea, es una bestialidad de animal. Son muy sigilosos y no se les oye, no se les ve. Es muy difícil verles entre los arbustos. Fijaros que está aquí pegado y prácticamente no lo veo.
Platypus. The scientific name of the platypus is Ornithorhynchus antennatus. Platypus are found in eastern Australia, from the semi-tropics or far north to the freezing snows of Tasmania. In Queensland, platypus live in rivers east of the Great Dividing Range, and are also found in some western flowing streams. In North Queensland, the range of the platypus is close to the coast. The animals are found in Cape York Peninsula. Platypus make their home in the near freshwater creeks, slow-moving rivers, lakes joined by rivers, and bulkwater storage, such as farm dams. They build a simple burrow in a riverbank, just above water level, and often among a tangle of tree roots. The northern section of Australia has a more tropical influenced climate, hot and humid in the summer, and quite warm and dry in the winter, while the southern parts are cooler with midsummer and cool, sometimes rainy weathers. The biotic factors of the habitat where the platypus lives are animals such as consumer and producers and decomposers, also plants, trees, and the rest. And the abiotic factors that we can hide where the platypus lives are the sun, rocks, dirt, water, and etc. The platypus is the secondary consumer for it in its food chain. The platypus feeds off only shrimp.
18th century Europeans thought it was a hoax when they first saw drawings. 18th century Europeans thought it was a hoax when they first saw drawings of the peculiar creature. But make no mistake, this oddball animal's no joke. It's a one-of-a-kind all-terrain species combining 3 animals in one. And it goes from cute to killer in an instant. At first glance, they make no sense. From their plump furry tails to their broad-billed muzzles, the platypus is about the size of a beaver. But all comparisons end there. Even its name is deceiving. In Greek, platus means flat, and pus means foot. But this strange waddler's no flat foot. Its paws are webbed. It's one of only a few creatures that combines traits from birds, reptiles, and mammals. The freshwater platypus lives in only 2 places on the entire planet.
Hippopotamus. Its scientific name for the most common hippopotamus out there is Hippopotamus amphibius. Its habitat is in the sub-Saharan Africa, which is everything below the desert. Its climate, it lives in the equatorial zone, in tropical dry and tropical humid zones. That's because, well, Africa is pretty large, so there's a lot of variety on the biomes. The biotic factors it presents are giraffes, elephants, zebras, lions, and gazelles. These are mostly predators and other animals that compete for the food. The abiotic factors are weather and climate, and forest fires. The usual, you know. The consumer it's a primary consumer. That means it's the one that eats plants, which are the primary sources of food. And that leaves us with its position in the food chain, which I will say it's around the middle, because only the apex predators can deal with them, since these hippopotamus live in the water mostly, and they are, well, really big and aggressive.
And now, it's time for some more amazing animals. Number 202, the amazing hippopotamus. The Greeks made up that word, and it means river horse.
Well, they got the river part right, but a horse? Please, how common.
Found in these parts of Africa, you'll soon see they're nothing like a horse.
Yeah, giddy up. Horse? I'm far more handsome.
Exactly. In fact, they're more closely related to whales.
Right. What?
Hippos spend most of their time in the water.
Pass the soap.
But at night, sneak out onto land to eat lots of grass. Maybe that's where they get the horse part from.
Nay, it's because we gallop fast.
Whoa. Okay then. The hippo's ears, eyes and nostrils are very well placed. Now, it's time for some more amazing animals. Number 202, the amazing hippopotamus. The Greeks made up that word, and it means river horse.
Well, they got the river part right, but a horse? Please, how common.
Found in these parts of Africa, you'll soon see they're nothing like a horse.
Yeah, giddy up. Horse? I'm far more handsome.
Exactly. In fact, they're more closely related to whales.
Right. What?
Hippos spend most of their time in the water.
Pass the soap.
But at night, sneak out onto land to eat lots of grass. Maybe that's where they get the horse part from.
Nay, it's because we gallop fast.
Whoa. Okay then. The hippo's ears, eyes and nostrils are very well placed for floating about in rivers.
Yes?
Sitting around in that water all day, don't you ever get hypothermia?
Really? What an awful joke, you hippopotty mouth.
And speaking of mouths, hippos can open theirs extremely wide, and their jaws are so powerful they could crush a watermelon like a grape. Ooh. Hippos are quite aggressive when protecting their territory.
Well, that theory will bite you on the bottom. Ow!
Oh, and they like to mark their territory by...
Wait, no, don't tell them that. You told them, and you reinforced it with a graphic.
Oh, well, that's the truth. I'm no hypocrite.
Please stop.
They might be big, grumpy-looking sausages, but the hippopotamus seriously is an amazing...
Conclusion. As a team, we conclude that all the animals that exist make up an important role in the ecosystem they live. It can be as a consumer or as a producer. If a part of this chain is missing, it may cause the extinction of all animals and living things and will cause an ecosystem to disappear. We also have to take care of the ozone, which is an important factor in the climate of all the ecosystems and may cause extinction. Also, we can take care of the ozone layer, making little things, for example, avoiding using aerosol sprays, using the car, or using public transportation.